Good afternoon. Be seated. So, यश
Yes.
ग्रेजुएशन कब हुआ आपका?
Last year, sir, in 2021, I completed my graduation.
In 2021 itself. So this seems like your first attempt.
Yes, sir.
Have you appeared anywhere else?
No, sir, I am not.
Okay. तो यश आप litigation में क्यों नहीं गए?
सर स्टार्टिंग से सर मेरा एम था सर एज अ जुडिशियल ऑफिसर बनना.
But your father has a legacy, and I believe it must be a very profound legacy. Then why you didn't wish to pursue with that? That
Sir,
is one of the most ultimate thing, and the son-father relationship. So the son should continue it. Why you have not been there?
indeed, sir, it's true. But sir, since childhood, as I have a legal background, I have an opportunity to go to courts. I have seen how a judicial officer works, how disciplined life he has. And sir, after when I pursued law as my option during my college days, I had an opportunity to do internship under the able guidance of honorable judges of High Court bench at Indore, where I have closely seen the work of a judicial officer. I'm very much impressed by that, and sir, I think I can use my potential to its best by serving as a judicial officer.
Okay. So yes, how will you differentiate between the mortgage by conditional sale and English mortgage?
Sir, both these mortgage they are basically provided under Section 58 of the Transfer of Property Act. In mortgage by conditional sale, the mortgager sells the property, immovable property, absolutely, and with the condition that on the payment of the mortgage debt, the property shall be reverted back to the mortgagee. And if the he fails to,
And where is this condition?
it's the content itself in the mortgage deed, sir.
Okay.
And if there is a failure to pay the mortgage,
Okay, what do you understand by injunction?
sir, injunction means a order by which any person is restricted from doing a particular thing, or where he is compelled to do something, a particular thing. It may be.
Suppose you reach to the court with an application to grant injunction and the application has been refused.
Yes.
What remedy you have?
Sir, I'll appeal from the order, sir, under 43, order 43, sir.
Is the appealable refusal is?
Yes, sir, refusal of injunction is appealable.
Okay. Suppose you are the first class magistrate and you have a maintenance case before you,
Yes.
in which you find that due to non-payment, the husband has been in imprisonment and there has been successive three imprisonments.
Yes.
Now the wife again applies for the issuance of warrant. What will you do?
So first, I'll follow the process which is provided in the code itself. I'll try to recover it as a fine. If then he again if he makes any default, then again.
But what will happen if husband is successively in the imprisonment? How will he be able to make the payments?
Sir, I'll see whether he has any property from which the fine can be levied.
What? How will you differentiate illegality and irregularity in proceedings?
Sir, illegality means some express provision of the law has not been followed, or the procedure itself has not been followed, or there is some gross injustice has happened, which makes the proceeding itself illegal. Illegal means, sir, according to in violation of the law, and irregularity means there is some omission in following the procedure.
Okay, good. Section 112 of Indian Evidence Act seems conclusive.
Yes.
The framers, they have made it conclusive.
Yes.
Do you see any exception there? Is there any possibility when the presumption as to the legitimacy of child can be rebutted?
Yes, sir. There is a presumption rebuttal of non-access, sir. If the parties to the marriage has no opportunity of having sexual intercourse, then it can be rebutted, sir. Non-access is the only ground on which the presumption under 112 can be rebutted, sir. And it can be done by DNA test, the various judgments of the Supreme Court now by DNA and modern scientific methods have been now there to rebut the presumptions.
Mm-hmm. How will you discuss the inherent power of court?
So the inherent powers of the court, they are not provided by any act or statute. It is itself in the court by virtue of being acting as a court. It is provided basically in civil, in section 151 of Civil Procedure Code and 482 of CRPC, sir. Inherent power.
How do they differ?
Sir, in civil code, all the courts have the inherent power, but in 482 CRPC, only the high courts have the inherent power to make such orders which are necessary and to prevent the abuse of the process of the courts.
Okay, what do you understand by dying declaration?
So, dying declaration means any statement which is made by a person at the a person as to the cause of his death or as to the circumstances of the
Okay,
transaction.
can you mention any circumstance when the dying declaration of one person can be used as dying declaration of another person?
Sir, when can I give sir an example?
Yes.
Sir, for example, if there are two persons and they both are at the same place at the same time, and if any one of them writes a dying declaration that we both are A and B, for example, so that I and B are at the same place.
Now, one person is dead and one person is about to die.
Yes, sir.
And this person writes the dying declaration as to the transaction in which both the death have resulted. Now, do you consider any situation wherein the dying declaration of one can be used against another? How will you discuss test identification parade?
The test identification parade, it is basically provided under section 54A of the CRPC. It's the test identification parade is basically conducted. The main aim is to find out whether the victim, whether the offense has been committed by a known persons or not. It is the sole discretion of the prosecution or the police officer to conduct it or not with the permission of the judicial magistrate. The evidence, it is relevant.
How will you define hearsay evidence?
Sir, hearsay evidence means any indirect evidence, we can say evidence of a person who has not himself seen the fact or who has not himself heard any fact and which makes a statement which is derived from any other person, sir. He is not the source which
Do you recall any condition wherein the hearsay evidences be admissible, and is there any rule which excludes the hearsay evidence?
Yes, sir. The rule which excludes the hearsay evidence is section 60, which provides that the oral evidence, it must be direct. Direct, that I have already mentioned, sir. It must be evidence of the person who says I have seen the fact or who heard the fact, who holds any opinion. These all are the direct evidence. It excludes the rule of hearsay evidence. And there are certain exceptions, sir. It is provided
Okay,
under section.
Article 23 in the Constitution of India uses the word begar. What do you understand by the word? And is there any analogous provision in IPC as to that?
Yes, sir. Sir, begar means forced labor. That is labor against the will of any person who is not willing to will, but compulsorily or forced compulsory labor. In IPC, sir, the similar provision is contained under 374, I think, sir. It is contained there. After human trafficking, the provision is there about the labor against the will of persons.
Can you tell the principles of natural justice?
Yes, sir. The first principle of natural justice is audi alteram partem, that the person must be given an opportunity of being heard before making any order against him. It's the principle of natural justice, sir. Second is no one can be a judge in his own case. Basically, it is derived from the principle that of impartial, fair trials, or of the impartial judge must be impartial. It is also provided under 479 of the CRPC. The next is, sir, principle of natural justice
Is there any possibility where a contract can be created without consideration?
yes, sir. In a contract of agencies, sir, there is it is basically created.
What about section 25?
Yes, sir. Section 25. There are three exceptions in which the general rule is that a contract without consideration
What
is
is
void.
the evidential value of confessional FIR?
Sir, it was discussed in the case of Agnu Nageshi versus State of Bihar. The confessional FIR, if it directly there is the acknowledgement of guilt, so much of part will not amount to confession under section 24 under the relevant provisions, but it will be excluded by the rules under section 25 and 26 of the Indian Evidence Act. And the remaining part, which talks about if there is some discovery as to any fact or
Okay. Suppose a holding is abandoned. How long will it take for the holding to be vested in the government? Does the holding vest in the government after being abandoned, And
Yes,
what is the duration? Yes.
sir. Duration exactly. I
What do you
think 20
understand by
years.
substituted performance?
The substituted performance of the contract is provided under Section 20 of the Specific Relief Act. It means when the party to a
Is there
contract.
any analogous provision in Indian Contract Act itself? What do you understand by restitution?
The restitution is provided under 144 of the CPC. Restitution means, sir,
What
to
is
restore.
rectification?
Rectification means, sir, where the contract does not itself provide the meaning what the party is contemplated to
Hmm.
by the reason of the fraud or the
Is
mutual.
there any section you wish to name?
Yes, sir. It is provided under Section 26 of the Specific Relief
What
Act.
is the ratification of contract?
Ratification of the contract, sir, means to ratify it, sir, to when the contract is by the fraud or the mutual mistake of the party.
Hmm. What do you understand by judicial activism?
Sir, judicial activism means when the court itself, suo motu, takes the cognizance of some issue, and when the court strives into the play and comes into the play to cure the defects which are prevailing in the state or which the state omits to do so, because
There has been a recent judgment by the apex court as to the demonetization, wherein it has been held valid.
yes.
What is your opinion?
Sir, I support the majority view which is given in the judgment, that it is not repugnant or it is in conformity with the reasonable nexus sought to be achieved. And the test of proportionality, but basically it is discussed in that judgment. And sir, I think
As of now, there is a discussion as to the legalization of marital rape. What is your opinion as to that?
sir, I think that marital rape is, sir, rape, whether it is in the ambit of the marriage or it is outside it. So there should not be any distinction regarding marital rape and the rape, because it's curbs the liberty of a women and the basic rights of the women, sir. There is a split verdict regarding that, sir, recently by the Delhi High Court.
So why does the verdict goes against your opinion?
The verdict
Don't you
is,
consider that the opinion given by honorable judges is of much importance, and your opinion, on what thing your opinion based? What is the ground of your opinion?
sir, the verdict it is split, basically split verdict, sir. Now it will, I think, up to my knowledge, sir, it will be decided by a higher bench, sir. One of the honorable judges, it's of the view that marital rape shall be.
Okay. What is the difference between abatement of suicide by a married woman and dowry death?
Sir, abatement of a suicide. Abatement means, sir, if any person instigates any women to commit suicide, or if it engages in conspiracy so that women can commit the suicide. So abatement, sir, is totally a different thing. And a dowry death, sir, if a woman is subjected to cruelty or harassment in connection with the demand of the dowry, it comes in the ambit of the dowry death, and if it
Does
is
the
committed with the.
IPC anywhere defines the term dowry?
No, sir, IPC does not define the term dowry. It is defined under the Dowry Prohibition Act, so Section 2, I think.
What is difference between interim order and interlocutory orders?
Sir, interlocutory orders are those orders which are passed
Hmm.
in the midway of the in the middle of the proceedings. Sir, it does not completely disposes of the proceedings if there is some substantial issue.
Under what condition bail can be granted in non-bailable cases?
Non-bailable cases, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in non-bailable cases, it's totally a discretion of the magistrate to grant the bail in non-bailable cases. Sir, it is provided under 437. And there are some, before granting bail for an offense above, for which imprisonment is above 7 years or more, there are some conditions, sir, which are provided in that section 437 clause 3 only, that he should attend and appear as provided in the whenever provided by the magistrate, and he should not cause any inducement, threat, or promise, or
Okay.
temper any evidence.
Do you consider in a situation wherein a juvenile can be tried at par with adult?
Sorry, sir, I am not able to recall.
Suppose you are the first class magistrate and An accused is brought before you who has stolen a bicycle, and this is second event. The accused is 19-year-old. Will you grant the benefit of probation?
No, sir, because provision act provision the provisions regarding to provision itself provide that no previous conviction must be there. If it is convicted previously, then sir,
But the boy has stolen bicycle. Do you consider this an appropriate case wherein you will sentence the person?
I'll sentence him, but up to a fine or a minimum punishment, sir, because
Okay,
this is
leniency
the
you will put
yes,
with
sir.
that. Okay. How will you define writs? What do you understand by writ?
Sir, writ is the order of the on writ is basically is granted by Honorable High Court or on Honorable Supreme Court on infringement of some right or where there is a
What is
substantial
what is Article 60 of Constitution?
Article 60.
Yes.
So Article 60 of the Constitution, it talks about the oath of the president.
Hmm.
Oath of the,
Not sure.
my knowledge, it's the oath of the president, sir.
Okay. What is Article 245?
Article 245 of the Constitution is regarding the legislative powers of the states, sir, of the center in the union. Sir, it is the division of the basically the powers in the Schedule 7. Sir, there are some list in which the parliament is competent to make.
Okay. As you have seen that in Part 3 of the Constitution, there are fundamental rights. Which fundamental right you consider the most important?
Article 21.
Okay. What is the position as to Article number 32?
Article number 32, it provides the right for the enforcement of the rest of the rights. It is indeed one of the most important right.
Recently, there is a discussion as to the distribution of father's property among son and daughter equally, although the daughter has been married and sent to her matrimonial home. What is your opinion as to that?
I support with this decision. I think this is the latest judgment of A. Godan versus Palaswamy, in which it is held that if there is any self-acquired property also, so a female married daughter will also be entitled to the share in it. Sir, this is the right provision because in order to achieve the equality which we are talking about under Article 14, this kind of steps are very much necessary so as to give equal rights to both men and women.
But the daughter has been married, and the Indian society, as per the custom, once the daughter has been married and she went out of this home, even if the property is shared with her, the property will not be utilized by her and rather it will be sold. Still, you wish that the property shall be shared with women?
Yes, sir. I think she has also have the equal rights in the property of her father or family members, sir.
Okay. Suppose you are selected as a judge. How do you think that you can contribute to judiciary?
Sir, the basic, sir, as a, if I am selected as a judge, sir, the first point, sir, as I am a very young person to be appointed at this position, so the potential and the spirit, sir, which I have, I can, when it combines with the experience of the senior judicial officer, sir, I think the combination will be best and I can use my capabilities. Secondly, sir, the characteristics of a judicial officer, that judicial officer must be honest, he integrity must be there, he must be disciplined, he must be punctual and judicial aloofness, sir. I think I possess all these qualities and characteristics
Okay.
in me.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.